Hey guys, Matthew Herman here with Light Photography. Today we're going to take a look at Premiere Pro, how to color grade with LUTs. We're going to look at how to import those LUTs, which is really quick and easy. And we're going to look at the difference between technical and creative LUTs, which is something that confused me for a bit and led to some pretty bad color grading. So this is very simple, very quick and easy. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're here in Premiere Pro. And I have two clips here that we're gonna look at. We're gonna look at this first one, a drone shot of sunset, and then also this shot in, I have no clue where this is. Oh, this is in Florida with my kids, which is a fun shot. Really hard to color grade though. So let's take a look at this. First off, a LUT is the lookup table based on the camera that you have. So the difference between a creative and a technical LUT is that technical LUT is the lookup table for the colors based on the camera that you're filming with. The creative LUT is a little extra bonus, so you can add a little bit of your own personal style to that video, or I guess someone else's style, if you purchased it from someone else. Anyway, moving forward. All right, so first things first, we're going to, let's say you've already downloaded your LUTs, but the question is, how do we get those into Premiere Pro? And this is pretty simple. You're gonna open up your Finder, you're gonna go into your library, which we see here, and you're gonna click on Application Supports, and then we're gonna open up Adobe, and then we're gonna open up Common down here. So once we're in Common, if there is no folder named LUTs, you're gonna create a folder, name it LUTs, and inside of LUTs, you're gonna have Creative and Technical. So when you download LUTs, you need to find out which ones you're downloading, if they are your creative or your technical LUTs. And the technical ones, like I said, are the lookup tables specific to your camera. And those you're gonna drop right here in the technical folder. And the creative, you're gonna drop into creative folder. Okay, first film, really straightforward. So get the film you want. You always wanna color grade with your proxies off. So if this button's clicked, you can see if I hover over it, it says toggle proxies. Turn that off, that way we can get the best view of our video to see what it's gonna look like as we're color grading. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to, let's say you're in assembly here, we're gonna click over on color. And if my screen doesn't look like yours, go up to Window, Workspaces, Reset to Saved Layout. And that should reset yours to what mine looks like here. So over here on the left in Lumetri Scopes, I keep these three on at all times, and that's gonna be, let's see, histogram, parade, and the waveform. And that's what I like to look at when I'm color grading. So first things first is we're gonna get this exposed properly, or just how we want it. Remember, you have a lot of room here for creativity. So you can make it lighter, you can make it darker, it's up to you. There is no set format when you're filming or editing film or editing photography. So if we go over here, we're gonna click Basic Correction, and you see here it says Input LUT. We're not gonna do that just yet. So I'm gonna start with the blacks first, and I'm gonna drag these up and get this over here is what I'm looking at, okay? And I want that to be usually about 10. That way I'm keeping the detail in the shadow. And if this is moving too fast for you, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold Command and then drag it, and it's actually gonna go, hold Command, drag this one, it's gonna go a little bit slower. So we're gonna bring these up to about, now if it goes too far before that blue 0 comes up, you can bring it back down. And then same thing with the whites. So we're gonna bring those down where we want them. Right there, looks good to me. So again, I kept those about 10 above 0 for both of these. That way nothing is exposed to the extreme light or to the extreme dark, which is going to take out a lot of that detail. Okay, then I'm going to take a look at my highlights and see where I want them. I'm going to bring these down to keep some details in the sky there with the clouds. I'm going to take a look at shadows, and shadows are kind of weird. Sometimes when you bring the shadows out, you get this like faded look, which you may not like. Maybe you want that look. It's up to you. It's your creativity. So we're going to pull up the shadows, not all the way though. We're gonna keep it a little shadowy down there. Okay, so once you have these set kind of where you want them, like I said, my foundation is bring my blacks up out of the 0, bring my whites down, and what that does is the blacks tells your shadows how far they're gonna go, and it's not gonna go past that point, and the whites tell your highlights how far to go, and it's not gonna go past that point. So after you set blacks and whites, you're free to adjust highlights and shadows, and they'll never go past that point that you've set them at. So now we're gonna get into our LUTs. Under Basic Correction, which you're already in, the Input LUT, this is our technical LUT. When you click that, you should now see your technical LUTs. By the way, after you add your LUTs to the folder, make sure you restart Premiere Pro so it can load those up. Like I said, I'm using Leeming LUT, and I shot this on the DJI Air 2S, and there's two different ones that I use, Leeming LUT Athena 3, and then there's the Leeming LUT Pro 3, and I shot these on D-Log. We're gonna add that, and for me, I'm just gonna go, and you may have your own LUTs, so you can kind of see what you like, and I'm gonna keep this on the darker, because I like how that looks. And the other thing I'm gonna adjust is I'm gonna adjust my white balance. Now you can hit this little picker, pick something that's white, and see how it goes. I don't know if I like that. That's not looking too bad. But what I like to do also is I like to just grab them, and as I'm moving, I'm looking over here in this area, and I'm trying to balance those three out. So right there, not too bad. So I'm not even looking at my image right now. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm actually really digging the color on this right now. I love that sunset color, that bright orange and the teal. And I love the shadows in the trees with a hint of orange here and there. But another thing I like to do is I like to go into curves now. And I'm gonna put a marker here. This is Luma versus saturation. And then I'm gonna drag this. This tells the image to take all the saturation out of the shadows. Or you can add more saturation to the shadows. And this is kind of up to your preference. A lot of times I'm gonna take the saturation out of the shadows, but I'm actually digging the trees and the green here, is I think I'm actually going to add some saturation to the shadows here. And I'm really digging how that's looking. Okay, cool. And the other thing that I like to mess with is this main curve here. I'm going to put 3 markers, 3 points. And this is where I'm usually going to start with the mid-range. I'm just kind of going to go, I'm not looking at my lumetri scopes or anything. I'm just specifically looking at my video here to see what I like. And this again is your preference. You can see when it brings it down, everything kind of gets gray. And sometimes that's cool, sometimes it's not. So I'm gonna bring that up. I really want this kind of to be pretty vibrant. Let's see, I don't really like any of that, so we'll keep that a little dark. And then this is for our highlights. And we're gonna keep that where I had it. So I'm just gonna bring the mid-range up. Kind of digging that. So I'm really digging how this looks right now, and I'm gonna leave it just like that. It's really basic, really straightforward. I love the sunset, I love the colors, I love the sky, I love the trees there. And let's look at the before and after. So this would be our before, and then this is gonna be our after. Again, what you can do is you can go into creative here, and this is when you can add those creative LUTs. So if we do look, we can add after you've done your basic color corrections with the basic LUTs. And this is where you can get crazy. Let's say you like Peter McKinnon, we can do some of his fade out. And notice that this intensity is on 100. I'm gonna start at 50. 100 is usually no good. So you can see the difference here. You know, if you wanna go for this look, you can go for that look. This is again up to you. There is no right or wrong. I mean, maybe this is wrong, but that's up to you. Usually I keep this at 50, and to be honest, my go-to is going to be faded film. That's kind of one of my favorites here. You can see the difference before and after. Very subtle, but for this one, I'm really digging the color, so I don't think I'm gonna add much of anything here. So for this one, I'm gonna keep it at nothing. I'm just kind of really digging the color here. I'm not trying to get too cinematic, just a really cool shot of some colors in the sunset. All right, so let's move on to our second one, which is actually a little more difficult to color grade here. So again, remember the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to basic correction. We're gonna take a look at how this is exposed and try to get it right. So I'm gonna look at my blacks. I'm gonna bring those up to about there. I'm gonna go to my whites. Let's see, okay, actually bring those down to like there. Highlights are kind of high, we're gonna bring those down. Let's see, shadows. Right, bring those up a little bit, not too bad. I'm gonna get a little closer here so I can see some skin of, this is my beautiful family. Is that all 6? Yeah, it's all 6 of them. We're looking pretty good over here on the lumetri scopes. Now the color balance on this is actually really difficult. What we can do is if we want, pick this shirt, it's kind of white, but I'm totally not digging that. So I'm gonna do this manually. And again, I'm just gonna try to balance these. This was sunny Florida, so I'm just kind of eyeballing this. All right, so that's looking this is one where these curves are really gonna help us here. So we got this, it still needs some work, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my LUTs. And this was filmed on the Fujifilm X-T3. So, and this was filmed in Eterna Cinema. And you don't have to stick to that. You know, if you don't like how this looks, like, oh man, that looks ridiculous. This is the darker version. So we can try F-Log, not looking good. And you can kind of just mess around on this and see what you like, to be honest. And this is one that definitely needs some work. I'm totally not digging the highlights. So let's see what I can do. So we're gonna hop into curves. And let's see, put our 3 points on. All right, so this one, the exposure is not great. This was like spur of the moment, let's grab the camera, have the kids run down the beach kind of thing. As you can see, the right side of the film, which is the left side of their faces, that's where the sun was, completely just destroying that side of the face with shadows on the other side. So not the best filming here, very hard to get correct. We can still look at our before and after. Let's see where we at. So before, and then this is our after right now. And then if we go into creative, now we can add our creative LUTs, and like I said, I'm digging faded film, put that at 50. And let's see, here's before, the creative LUT, and then after on that creative LUT. These guys are so funny. So that's it. That's not looking too bad. I'm actually digging that for a spur of the moment shoot with terrible lighting. So again, let's look at the before and after here. So here's before. Let's get with our basic correction, with our curves, and then with our creative LUT added. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. Hit the like button if you liked this video. Comment down below, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you'd like to see in the future. The next video is going to be how to color grade without using LUTs. Thanks guys, see you next time.
Oh no.